Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street Veracity VRA video here today. As per usual, before we get started, do not forget to check out the other videos after this one and smash that subscribe button if you have not done so already. If you're new to the channel, very welcome indeed. We do cover a lot of different topics and assets on this, and if there's any that you want us to cover and we have a good research into those as well, we will for sure add them and maybe even add them to my portfolio as well. As I've done in the last week, actually, added a few different ones. Casper, I think we had XRP, Paynet I haven't added yet, but waiting for the dip. And then ALBT, Alliance Block, just been added a couple of days ago as well. So keep an eye out for me on any projects that you think are worth covering. We will do that for sure. Let's go into today's topic. So this is around the actual US intellectual property patent, the full patent approval for Veracity relating to rewarded video. Now, we covered the South Korea one in the last video, and then literally an hour after uploading that, albeit to be fair with the news aspect, I was about a week late with producing that video anyway, the announcement of this came out. So I did a mini sort of YouTube shorts for that, just to cover the base on it, but I thought we'd talk about it in a bit more detail. Now, of course, the US is a massive market, and for those that don't know about Veracity and how that kind of like operates in general, there's a few different really cool solutions from Veracity, to be honest, and in particular, I'm interested personally in things like the gaming aspect, their VRA esports platform. This allows people to have a view to earn mechanism. So it means that you could play the game obviously and try and win tournament money, etc. But you could also watch the games and earn tokens and rewards. Now, this will be eventually integrated into many other different platforms. They've got good partnerships already with the likes of Twitch and Vimeo, for example. Google, YouTube, I believe as well, albeit I'm not sure if it's fully integrated yet. I certainly haven't seen any kind of reward instance from YouTube capabilities in that aspect. But what I would like to point out here, and this comes from my knowledge and research of gaming for many years. I used to do a lot of esports partnerships and things like this, so I know the power magnitude of this sector and industry. In the sort of last recent years, the statistics out there, 3.2 billion gamers worldwide, which is crazy. And obviously that's so many different games, genres and different types, right? But also, and more importantly to this conversation, is around 720 million people per year worldwide watch games, watch stream of games. This is an incredible number. And already in this platform, there's been a good number of views here. But more interestingly, the matches numbers are rising significantly quickly, and the prize money is as well for those that are taking part or participating in the games and the tournaments themselves. So I think this is a really big point. We've also got a new VRA wallet as well to encourage more users, a bit more of a user-friendly approach, and having it on your phone as well, which is a big help. It's getting a bit tedious using the browser over and over again. But my point being is, if we loop this round to the original topic of this and we think about the gaming side of things, this is one thing. But this in particular also about advertising fraud prevention and many other things that Veracity boasts as part of its Vera Stack or Vera Ad Stack platform, also using, I believe, Brightcove as well. If you remember, I think a while back we had a few other statistics, particularly in the US, right? There is over $285 billion worth spent on advertising in the US. Now, that's not broken down essentially into what kind of advertising that may be, but for sure, in the digital aspect, this is of course growing. It's growing worldwide. It's growing pretty much anywhere, right? But from my gathering this year thus far, or whether it's 2021 at least, an estimated $566 billion were projected to be spent on digital advertising worldwide in 2022. This is maybe not just the aspiration of US, but the world in general. This is a lot of money. And when we're spending a lot of money on advertising, we want return on investment, right? And you may have seen recently things like Eon posting out about bots and fake views, fake followers, etc. This will be clamped down significantly as these get removed, right? As the accounts get verified and all these kind of things. But from an advertising perspective, This is really interesting. And I remember Verasity writing about this when they first sort of started, and with their research within Google, for example, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars were being lost in ad revenue through fake views and things like this. So this is quite interesting. So what we try and achieve here from a business perspective is, if you are advertising, you're getting lucrative results, not fake results where a company goes, oh yeah, we've got you like 100,000 views, but actually only like 5-10% of them were actually real people. But you spend the money anyway, and you don't really know whether that's right or wrong as a statement. This will help companies, first of all, remove companies and this philosophy of using things like bots and fake views and all these kind of things, and actually having lucrative data and analytics. And if we have more of that, we can present things better, we can create better content, we can create better consumer behavior, all of these kind of things, right? And I speak from the marketing background here. And this is really, really cool, because obviously more and more people watch things like video content a lot more. This includes massively in the advertising sector, whether it's on your mobile, in digital advertising that you see in stores, or on billboards or digital billboards these days, screens, whatever it might be, right? Even on our TVs, everything. Proper viewership numbers are really important. And when you start going to a business and you're saying, well, how much you spend on advertising? And then, oh, by the way, did you know that most of these are fake? Well, here's our solution. Utilize this, but also any of your views could get rewards on them as well. So we're talking about here the rewarded video format. We mentioned about the gaming perspective, but this could also apply to anything really, in terms of any kind of advertising, any kind of video that you want people to watch. You could also get people earning money off watching those adverts, paying for people's time. This is the mechanism of view to earn. Very much aligned with play to earn, move to earn, eat to earn, learn to earn. I'm not making those up. We did actually do an episode, I'll leave it at the end of this one, categorizing all the different to earns that there are. I think we did the first one, or the overall one at least, but I need to do the individual videos for that, and I think you'll find it very interesting. The learn to earn is very cool. Eat to earn is very weird, but interesting at the same time. But yeah, we've got view to earn. I said the application to this is very big, because we've got like the original advertising aspects, as I mentioned already. Esports is another platform that this can be done on as well. So yeah, it's going to help a lot of businesses out there, and it's also going to help you as a viewer get better content delivered to you, whether that's applicable to you in the sense that they've built this content specifically for you, or you're just looking for particular content, and then you get rewarded for your time by investing that time into watching something that a company or a brand that you like, or whatever it might be, has taken your attention. Okay, so this is just the way the mechanism goes, and then most people on here can then utilize the tokens that are given to you on here, and then convert those into Verasity tokens, or obviously into other items, NFTs, or indeed fiat currency if you then switch on to the exchange, right? So it's going to be a really weird and exciting economy that's moving forward. But this in particular is a big milestone for Verasity, and a big point of them trying to dominate or be one of the first proper companies out there that can do this. Theta is kind of half similar in the sense of viewing platforms and things like this. But for me, Verasity has got a really good team, a really dedicated team, a ruthless team, really, in the way that they've developed everything. And I think if you just look for, I mean, this is the VRA wallet, obviously, but Verasity in general has been doing some fantastic things with the elements of what it's doing in terms of its ad stacking, in terms of its deliverable of its business acumen, of what it's trying to achieve and what it's trying to provide as an overall solution, right? And I think this is really important to acknowledge. The team is fantastic, massive experience. Certainly what excites me the most is their experience within digital media, and particularly in retail and things like this, right? And now they've got a really good sort of marketing CMO here as well, in Elliot, who's been absolutely fantastic since he joined, just building those narratives, building and driving the information out there. Now, we'll go into the price in a second, but yeah, this is really cool, guys. I think there's so much more to come, and yeah, of course, there's a lot of tokens in available in terms of supply and everything, but you've got to look ahead. And in fact, actually, let's drive that topic home with relation to the actual chart itself. Now, way back on one of the first videos that we did actually of Verasity, we drew than this. I still believe this. I still believe in the next run, whenever that may be, hopefully by 2025. We will see a 21-cent price prediction from myself come true. We'll have to see. But that's a minimum probably. But I do think that we could easily hit those areas. And from the current sort of existing points where we are today to that point, it's quite significant really. It's about 8,300% gain. That would be phenomenal, right? For anything that we invest in right now. I'm just going to zoom in. Probably might take me a couple of minutes here because of how far out we were. But if we look at the existing status of Veracity, 0.002, okay? So the volume for Veracity is always quite steady, to be honest, on a daily and a weekly. I think a lot of people hold this, and I think a lot more people will become aware of this as the cycle turns around. But what we try and encourage on the channel is to really identify projects that have a big future or a really massive utility. And I urge people really to, when they're doing research, don't just look at the topic itself of like the actual project, the asset, its tokenomics, all of these things. Have a look at the sectors it's going after. Have a look at the research, the actual definitive data of what these guys are trying to achieve as a solution. What's the solution for? What sector is it for? Industry, etc. And you will reverse that back to say, okay, Veracity is one of the leading platforms here that is integrating this kind of technology. And they're already ahead with patents pretty much all over the world right now already. Albeit the full solution isn't integrated yet, but it's being worked on. The development team is working very hard and solidly every day. I see a lot of communication from them. I know a couple of the guys at Veracity. I've had a few conversations with them in the Web3 environment. And they're really solid guys, like just proper down to earth and really, really dedicated to this project, honestly. So I'm really excited to see the further development on this. It's going to be interesting. I had some reservations at the beginning, like at the very beginning, like, you know, when you have an introduction to projects and you try and do loads of research, I was like, oh, are they actually going to make this? But over this last year or so, guys, the progression has been fantastic. You've got to admit this, and the constant development, the constant improvements, even just the couple of things we showed you just a minute ago with the VRA wallet. This is great. This makes it easier, more simplified. You can buy directly as well. And all these great things to make it easier to become a user of Veracity and its ecosystem within, but also to understand more the opportunities ahead. If we look at the indicators on the right hand side here on the performance, before we go into the actual chart module, 6% up on the week, which is pretty low, but it's still in green. But look at this, the year. The year is down significantly still. And this is mainly really because of the price point currently and the amount of volumes that you want to drive. But I do think there's a lot, not necessarily distractions, but I think a lot of people are just cautious right now of where they're spending money and putting money into. And they're probably focusing on like some of the major assets out there in crypto. But don't forget these kind of small cap ones at the moment, right? Because I think if we analyze the aspect of Veracity right now, the market cap itself isn't huge, and I think this is a great opportunity for it to, in these next runs, to really drive forward. I mean, it's got a 319 million diluted market cap and a 29 million market cap in general, circulating supply of 10.34 billion. So there's a lot there, right? And they did announce an update on their tokenomics, and we covered that in a few videos back if you want to check that out. But the volumes are still good. The volumes are still good per 24 hours. So what I mean by this is there's a lot of stability here, and there's a lot of people understanding this more and more. And I think this is exciting because the more people understand it right now, this is where people make the money. When this cycle switches around and people and like projects like Veracity, and you get all of a sudden you get all the big influencers jumping in on things again, and they get paid for the advertising stuff, obviously. By the way, we don't get paid for sponsorships or advertising or anything from projects because we like to be unbiased, and I do this based on the fact that I love the space and I love the projects that I'm invested in, and I acknowledge them. So Veracity for me is one of those. But yeah, 93% down on the year. Now that's just to reverse that into a zero and then into a positive. We're looking at some serious gains here. I don't think we're fully out of the winter market or bear market at all right now. I think the next few months are going to be really critical with the world events in general, the recession, the potential depression narratives coming out now. So there could be opportunities to grab things a bit lower anyway. However, saying this, if you remember from the previous videos that we did, we're now matching these areas here that we saw in March and February 2021 respectively. We do have lower positions. Do we need to come and test these areas? In my opinion, I think we do. That's why I've got the buy orders at lower positions here at the 0.002 on the nose. You might call me crazy to think, am I really worried about this small difference? Well, yeah, I am. I'm trying to accumulate as much veracity as possible and get it staked as well, by the way. Must mention that on the VRA wallet. But this in particular, I drew this orange line, and this is where I believe potentially we could see veracity come down to then have a bottom line, because I think it's very important. And it's not just veracity, it's any other project that I look at. And I think, where's the data? Where's the data and the confirmations of support and resistance? And since this marker here in February, we shot up significantly for veracity, if you remember. And it took a long time for it to come back down. But my point being is there's a huge gap here, and we're already testing this area. So don't be surprised if you're going to see a lot of fluctuating activity around this particular area, particularly between these fib retracement lines here and here. I honestly think we need to break down this level, but if it gets stabilized enough and secure enough, this could indicate a new support line and basically mention that the fact that actually if you were to draw kind of like a trend line, if you like, over a history of time, it's probably around the price that it should be in terms of its history and its life cycle, right? So there's an argument for that as well. And also, as I said, the integrity of veracity, the more users, the more holders of this are holding onto it. They're not really selling, they believe in it, or they're just thinking, well, I'm at a loss, I might as well hold it anyway. And at these price points, it's a great opportunity to be buying. And if big announcements come out, you do get a bit of fluctuation in price points, right? So there's some moves there that you can do if you're a daily or weekly trader. So this is going to be really interesting. But as I mentioned, right now, we are testing this previous area. It's no doubt in my mind about this. So as I said, don't expect to be surprised to see some sideways movement around these areas. But I do have the lower areas, and I do still think we could come down lower. Honestly, I do think that. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But the point as well to make is DCAing, dollar cost averaging. Just because I say that it might be coming down here, it may not do that. So I have to get the positions along the way just in case, but also take advantage of these nice areas that it's currently at too. Because in the long run, honestly, like, this is a great opportunity and great gain opportunity. I want to make profit like everyone else, right? We want to make money. And this is where you make the money, in these lower areas, right? Not on the FOMO and the jump ups, unless you're crazy and fortunate and know what you're doing. Because it does start coming crashing down, and you never know when that is. So for me, it's about these areas, in my honest opinion. So guys, let's just quickly, one last point here on the RSIs, showcasing 45 and 43 on the 14-day and the 28-day respectively. So this is quite good. I want to see that come down slightly more before I start entering in a few more manual purchases. And I think that's where you'll probably see the 0.002 and a half. So 2.5, 2.6, what I'm talking about if we disregard those first three zeros, that's what I mean. But you can also see the pattern here. The buying trend is slowly phasing out, not hugely. It's going to take a few days to do that. And the MACD down here is showing some good significant growth still people putting that volume in. But I want to see it come down a bit more before I put the manual orders in. So I haven't bought for a few days now just because of the uptake of the last couple of weeks. But I'm just keeping an eye out for it. And I want to obtain veracity as much as possible and get it staking. As I said, there's still some good staking APYs. If you want a video on how to stake, let me know. I'll do that. It's quite a good, easy one, actually. You will need the Microsoft Authenticator on your smartphone or whatever you're using. It doesn't use the Google one, I believe, just yet. For some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, Microsoft, just have that at hand. And if you do want a video on staking for veracity, let me know. Guys, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know your comments below about veracity in general, what we've seen today, what do you think about the patents, and also what have you been doing with veracity? Have you been buying? Have you been holding, selling, whatever it might be? Always interested to know. I like to hear people's scope of what they're doing with their tokens. Don't need to know figures or volumes or anything like that. Just want to know intricate detail like that. It's just simple information just to see how everyone's doing with it. But guys, thanks for watching this one. We will see you in the next veracity video. Take care. Bye bye.